The Woodhouse is located in the village of Satoli, which is about 2,000 meters above the sea, and it is facing the town of Almora. You drive normally to the Woodhouse from Bhimtal, about 1.5 hours through Malaram, Talaram towards Satoli. The client approached us to design their house on one piece of land which was directly facing the town of Almora, and both the couples belong to the mountains. It is almost for them a love that they express through the building to the place. We decided to place the building at the lowest terrace of their plot so that from the park, the Pagdandi, they could see the larger range of the mountains, the backdrop. The entire building has been placed on 3 different terraces, and the idea was very strong, and I think driven by the idea of sustainability of the land that you get. The idea was not to disturb any of the contours and built in such a way that these contours become a part of your design. The entire building is located and placed with the entrance towards the southeast. Southeast because Vastu-wise that was the best available entrance. So when you enter the building, which is made out of this cuboid base and a prismatic skylight roof, which is trying to somehow mimic the mountains in the backdrop, we tried to enhance the quality of light by devices like the skylight, and also by having calibrated and very carefully punctured windows into this cuboid, and the decision to place the windows were strongly driven by location of certain peaks that the client wanted to look at. So each of these windows are like a frame to the building. When you enter the building from the southeast side, the first bay or the first stage that you entered and the level is about 14.5 by 3.6 meter in its expanse, and it has a entrance vestibule, the powder room, the mud room, and a kitchen. As you slowly descend into the second and the third terrace, you are surprised by the huge volume that you otherwise don't explore while you are approaching the building. You are overwhelmed by the double height space that is then the core of the building. This area is meant to be most public area of the house, and it has been kept very transparent so that your view can easily, without any obstruction, glide into the panoramic view of the mountains. And the kitchen as well, the dining and the living have been put together as one consolidated space without any partitioning, without any wall, so that this area gets very active once the family comes together. The structure of the building is made of timber trusses that span about 14.5 meters, and these timber trusses are made out of planks glued together to form these trusses. The idea was, and that I should mention here very strongly, to opt for timber as a main construction material because of the availability of water for construction that is very, very sparse in this area. Water is a issue in this area. Besides timber, we tried to use locally available stone from the site that came out during the excavation, and we have used very little mortar to bind these stones, and which was a big challenge because generally local craftsmen are used to use lot of mortar. So we tried to make the stone look very pure. The stone walls are throughout of the building. They are the base to this building. Above the stone base, we had a double skin insulated wall construction. Now, the materials that were available here at site and from the region were for the structure, the salwood, which is a very ductile wood and which is dark in its color, ages very beautifully. And then we use for the outer skin red cedar, which is locally called tunwood. It's a very resilient wood. It doesn't get borers. It can age also very beautifully and turns over time into a blackish, grayish wood. Inside we opted for pine wood, again locally obtained. It has a beautiful fragrance, as I mentioned, and this fragrance fills actually the internal spaces of the building. Biggest challenge in building this house was to have the right craftsman who understands a kind of novel approach to making a house in the mountains. And we indeed faced many challenges when it came to developing the wooden framework that allowed then this unobtrusive view into the mountains. In cold climate or cold weather, the adhesives that were used to glue the planks wouldn't work properly. So we had to additionally then clamp these with metal bolts, which have become a beautiful feature in the internal spaces. But what was very rewarding then on this journey was certainly a collaboration between the local craftsmen with their indigenous wisdom and skills and our urban framework that we carried along with us and with our designs. And I feel that that kind of fusion between the urban planning methodology and the rural wisdom, the vernacular wisdom, has been extremely successful. Even the aging now of the building over time with its patina is very beautiful, because we feel that the building now standing there for maybe a decade has become a part of its surrounding rather than an object, an alien object in this region and in this particular location.